Where is he?
I don't know.
Do you think he's changed his mind?
No.
Then why isn't he here? He should have been here hours ago.
He's probably been delayed.
Are we gonna die in here, Trudy?
Amber, you're letting in the bad thoughts again. You can't do that.
I can't stop them. They keep getting stronger.
You know what to do.
It doesn't work anymore.
Do it, Amber. Think about your baby.
I'm not like you, Trudy. There's no one I can see when I close my eyes.
Try. Try. You have to try.
Welcome to Series 3, Episode 47 of Conversation on Eagle Mountain, a podcast about the tribe. I'm your host Lance, and joining the podcast panel today is Liz.
Hello.
Sabine.
Hi.
And Maggie.
Hi.
With episode notes done by Matt and myself. So Series 3, Episode 47. The screenplay was done by Charles Hodges. It was directed by Danny Mulholland, and the episode synopsis was read out by Liz.
Ebony puts her plan into motion, derailing Bray's election campaign and placing Ned in danger. Meanwhile, Casey's past scams catch up with him.
Alright, so yeah, the episode wastes no time by starting off with a bang.
Oh, what? You think I'm mad or something? What am I supposed to do? Walk him out the mall and parade him down the street?
Everything's been arranged. I fixed it all.
Why can't you go?
Because this is your bit. But if you can't handle it, we'll drop the whole thing right here.
Okay, I'll do it.
However, after stopping for a rest, the Guardian attacks him and knocks him out cold with a crowbar that Ebony had initially supplied earlier. So yeah, a couple of things in this opening bit panel. How do you react to Alice's sheer excitement about the farm? Ned believing that he was going to get everything that he was coming to him, and obviously the counterbalance with the attack by the Guardian.
Oh, Alice.
Yeah.
I mean, I get he's excited. I really do. It's for her, this is, all she would want. To get her farm, her parents' farm, back up and running in a proper state. But how on earth could she believe he could manage to pull that off? It feels like she really thought he was that knight in shining armor.
It's sad. I feel bad for knowing what's coming.
So much wishful thinking there.
Yeah, and I would just wish he wouldn't have told her.
Actually, it made me think of Zandra.
Mm-hmm.
The way Zandra, she had full faith in Lex. She didn't ask questions about how Lex got things done, because that wasn't something she was interested in. She didn't ask a lot of questions, to be honest. Lex said, I'm going to do this. We're going to be kings and queens in this mall. She wasn't, concerned about the details, whether he was being above board. She was just, excited that he promised her this life. And, yeah, that's what it reminded me of. I mean, it made sense for Zandra to be that way, but...
Yeah, and, I mean, even though Alice does ask if it's, if he's getting all of this in an okay manner, it's just the fact he's believing him when he claims that it's all above table,
She wants it to be.
That was my next question, yeah. I know she wants it to be desperate, but did she really believe that Ned could get all of these things just like that? I know you're in love, but you didn't question it?
Maybe it's wishful thinking. That's Alice apparently now. That's who she is this season.
Yeah, the Alice we know and love is just no more. And this is Alice 2.0, which is not really an upgrade, but a downgrade. So, yeah, apparently this version of Alice is just so desperate to believe that he's doing the right thing for the right reasons that she's willing to ignore her gut on that.
I think this might have worked a little better for me if Alice had been directed to play it more like showing some doubt and some reluctance to believe it, because it's easier to be cynical than to get your hopes up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would have worked better to show that, Alice is not dumb. She understands that this does sound just too good to be true. She has a history of having been let down before. And so seeing her struggle with wanting to believe it, I think would have worked better for me. and then maybe in that moment with May, she allows the excitement to show.
Yeah.
Like just show, I think it would have made the whole thing more sad and tragic because you could see that she desperately does want to believe it's true and she's afraid to get her hopes up. She's afraid to like just go with the promise and what he's saying, but she wants it so much. I think that would have really worked better for me than her just blindly being like, oh my gosh, what you did? You got all of that? Awesome. I have no doubts whatsoever that this is true. I would have broke my heart.
Especially after what, her and Lex.
Right,
that situation and how naive she was then.
I just sort of like to see a little bit more struggle in wanting to believe it, being afraid to, because their lives are so rough, and things can be going great one minute and then they suck the next. And I just feel like your guard goes up more with time, and that would have actually just shattered me, knowing how badly she wanted it and was afraid to want it and didn't get to have it.
Yeah.
I really like that scene with Ebony in the Guardian, how she just silently slips a crowbar in there, and that little side look he gives her, like, wow, she's serious. These people are crazy. This is wild. I can't believe this is how I'm getting out. Wow.
Yeah.
Of all the people in all the mall, to get him out from his point of view,
it's not who he expects.
No. Well, you never know. It is and it isn't, I guess. Because yes, Ebony was dead set against him and has tried to kill him, but he does know how she thinks.
Oh, for sure.
He's known her for a long time. He knows that if there's something in it for her, there might be, he's the best bet. Unlike Tyson, who would just do it out of humanity and concern for his well-being.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably intrigued too by the fact that he's clearly aware that she knows that he's more there than he's playing out to be. So he's like, I wonder, why is she still, what's her angle? But then he's like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go.
Yeah, I don't care what her angle is.
Carpe diem, seize the day.
Pretty much, yeah.
Amused at like, oh my gosh, like she's got this mall wrapped around her finger. Who would have thunk it? You know what I mean? Like,
it's so beautiful.
And then that crowbar.
Okay, since you brought it up, see, I love Ebony's role in all this. Like, it's fantastic, It's played brilliantly. It's just everything else that is dumbed down around it. So, I mean, how are we to believe that Ned got the Guardian out? Like, there was nobody there in the mall. He just dragged the Guardian out the mall, out the sewers, into a coffin, and then disappeared. We're just supposed to believe that.
Same way you got the girls out, I
and
guess?
the girls like, yeah.
Yeah, but at this, no. At this moment, yeah, Ebony made sure
Everybody was busy.
that everyone,
Really? Nobody?
Yeah, she had everybody doing things. She went about, she started dictating this and that. Like, I was like, oh, that's...
Yeah, you hand out posters here, you hand out posters there.
Yes, you do this. Keep everybody busy.
He got May out, he got Pride out, Lex out, Bray out, anyone
Luke
with
was
a brain
busy.
out.
Ellie, all of them.
I'm sorry, the mall is a small place. There's no
I know,
way.
but I'm just saying, I feel like
It's a
that's
tiny
what
set.
It is, but I do feel that's what was intended, is, had him do this and then played the distraction elsewhere.
It's like the only person that was a liability for this, or well, the only two people were Andy and Tyson, because they were the only ones who didn't get explicit instructions on what to do with their time.
I'll just say this. It's still silly. I'm with Lance that it's still very, very silly that once again he gets a body out of the mall and nobody notices. But getting the Guardian makes more sense. Getting him out because of where the Guardian is located. He's located by the back of the mall. Yeah. He's located right next to the sewer entrance. It's far more believable that he could sneak him several feet without anyone seeing him to that back entrance than the girls who were literally upstairs, and the only way downstairs is through that staircase, and it's nobody saw him do that, with two people. So this is at least sort of more believable. Like I'm not going to sit here scratching my head over this one too much. I'm just like, okay, whatever. he only had to get to the sewer entrance to get the Guardian out, and that's literally feet away from where the Guardian is. So,
And he had him moving.
Yeah.
but it's still silly. It's silly.
Plus, unlike with the girls, the Guardian wants to get out.
Yeah, there's that too.
It's not really a struggle.
It's still silly, but just a little
It
bit.
is, no doubt.
It's a little more
Ned.
believable for me that okay, the distance he has to travel with
It's
this
definitely-
person.
Yeah, and with a willing
Yeah.
subject.
I'm like, compared to two unconscious females,
Yeah.
where he would have had to be in front of a bunch of people, there was just too much ground he'd have to cover for no one to see him. I'm like, all right, at least this one, I can suspend my disbelief that he got him out.
Okay, but there's one final disbelief, like the crowbar. Where did the Guardian hide that on his body?
In his shoe. He has high boots.
He used his jail wallet,
Ooh.
Lance.
Where was he hiding
Oh.
it? Like, Ned picked him up, roughed him up. Like, where was he actually hiding this big metal?
Boots, like, next to his leg.
No.
Is that a crowbar, or are you just happy to see me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
She went there, I didn't for once.
And it is a full-size crowbar, too. It's a
Yeah.
big one.
Yeah, it's some small little.
Not fun-sized.
So the boot's the only logical place, because he would feel it if it was in the jacket.
Yeah.
It's Ned. Ned didn't frisk him.
I do kind of like the kind of vampire Guardian symbolism, though.
Jaffa back from the dead.
Mhm.
Well, that coffin. Seriously, Ned.
Didn't pick it out. It was provided for him.
Yeah, fair enough.
Ebony's like, it's all out there. He can't. He
Yeah,
just went out there and was like,
Ebony
oh,
Yeah.
this is how I'm supposed to get him around. Okay, cool. She did take care of everything
I like how there was a lock on the coffin, but apparently it wasn't locked.
because he didn't think to lock him in there. Yeah, like
Yeah.
not even an ounce of precaution.
But he had a crowbar anyway. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, but the thing is that if he had just thought to lock that coffin,
I know. Oh.
Mhm. But hey, we've been shown that Ned doesn't think, apparently. But
Nope.
oh yeah, one final bit I just stood out for me. Like, when did the Morats start hanging the key right by the cell door?
as soon as we needed to see how Ned was going to get the key,
Yeah.
that
They
that's
needed to
When
be
why.
Ebony
accessible.
decided to. When Ebony
Yeah.
decided to.
This episode is the first time we see where the key is,
Yeah.
how they lock him in, and it's because we needed to know how Ned was able to unlock. That's when they did it.
I,
I mean, we didn't need to see him attempting to get out by, trying to get to the key.
It didn't matter until today.
it didn't matter.
Because I was watching that and thinking, wow, they're really like holding the camera on watching Tysan lock everything back up.
Mm.
Like they've never given it this kind of attention. And then she hangs the key up and I go, that's why. It's just so that we'll
Yep.
know, oh, that's how Ned got him out.
Because it's just right there.
It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it wasn't my imagination of the crowbar turned colors.
Yeah, I thought I was. Yeah. Well, that's
Okay.
quite bright because I didn't see it when she gave it to him. Right? It didn't catch my eye.
When she gave it to him, it looked much darker, almost like a royal purple to, just a really dark, rich color. And then when they opened the coffin, I was like, what is he? I always get caught off guard. Like, what is he holding? Oh, yeah, he's holding the crowbar.
Blue.
It doesn't look like the one he was given. But I don't know, maybe it's just bad lighting. Bad
The
prop.
lighting, yeah.
Yeah, I rewatched that a few times because I wasn't sure, is it the candlelight that's making it look so dull and dark? But that's quite a bright blue. Yeah, odd.
I don't know. I never noticed it, but that might have been because I was so distracted by that strange, detailed white with purple stitching lace on the inside of that coffin that perfectly matched his outfit.
It's beautiful.
It's like it was perfectly made to measure for him.
The first time I watched it, it happened so quickly that I didn't really pay attention. So today when I paid attention, like I really watched that part and the blue it just caught me.
Mm-hmm.
It surprised me. I'm like, what is that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll come back to the Guardian's escape in a moment.
I keep the batteries separate.
Of course. They're very nice. Can you get more of them?
As many as you want.
I see. So, would you be the main supplier then?
You could say that.
Oi, this is a guy who's been selling the dead watches.
What? They were perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them.
Tell me, Do you do cash refunds?
I mean, did anyone care much about the scam scene with Casey?
Oh,
It doesn't work for me because they're still pretending that he and Fisheye don't even know each other.
yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Like, aren't they friends? Why is he setting him up?
But if you just,
Odd.
if I can just pretend that, okay, fine, Fisheye just happens, this trader just happens to look like someone Casey used to be friends with. I think it's fine. You know, I feel a little bad for Casey.
Yeah.
You know, that his heart is broken and he doesn't want this necklace because I like the idea that Casey liked May so much he got this necklace for her, and when she rejected him, instead of trading it, trying to get something else, being just another score to him, he doesn't do that with the necklace. That's such a rare thing for Casey.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to get his money back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't ask to trade it for anything. He doesn't try to get anything out of it. Like, that's how much her rejection actually hurts. And I just thought that was interesting.
It's odd. It's just odd that they don't have him listed as Fisheye and that he doesn't even recognize Casey. You're using the same. It's weird. It's just
Yeah, he's still got the same scale pattern on his face, and
it's still the same. But you know, we're not going to list you as Fisheye. And you're not going to recognize Casey.
he isn't even listed as Fisheye.
No, in the end credits.
No.
For this, it's odd.
That's weird. Yeah, because I think it's unnecessary. Because even if it was just his friend and he's like, oh yeah, no, well, I mean, this is the way it is, you know?
I wonder if they recorded the scenes and when they edited it, only then realized that they used the same kid and forgot that they knew each other.
Inconsistencies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's no continuity.
I mean, you think the actors would be like, oh, we filmed together. We do know each other.
I looked exactly the same.
Exactly. There's nothing different. I mean, unless it was like a pay thing and they want to credit him as a previous guest. So, you know what I mean? It's weird. I don't know. Maybe some weird thing.
It did seem strange that Casey had to push so hard the money, you know, like with him. Like, because even if he knows Casey's good, he does things, he scams, it's what he does, whatever. Like, if he can get in on the ground floor, why wouldn't he? That is strange.
Yeah.
Why do they have to do things like that?
I don't know. It's like, you expect everyone to, I don't know, sometimes it does feel like they also expect us to just forget what happened last week or 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? It's just like, here's the next thing. It's like, well, things did happen.
Yeah,
we do remember them.
Yeah, but we're supposed to be like, what, 9-year-old?
Yeah.
And
so I was gonna say, yeah, like
without a
tweens.
brain.
Listen, I'm a 35-year-old woman, and I don't like it.
Like, don't treat your audience like they're stupid. Like, we watch shows. We, like, even back then, we binged shows. We watched them together. We wait from week to week. We know what happened.
Waited for the next episode.
We waited. It was like I'd say it's even worse back then because we waited week to week.
Yes.
Like now it's just all in one go. But back then we waited, so we knew what happened. We watched it. We kept going forward. So why treat us like we don't do that or didn't know that?
I feel like they do this a lot though. Like they're like, oh, they're just gonna forget that this happened, so we can just do this instead. Like they feel like we're dumb.
I get it like nowadays because everyone binges, everything's okay. They're not going to remember what happened in episode like 3 of 20 that we binged, but now, like, back then, like, no, come on.
Yeah, nowadays they would have had to do previously on the tribe.
Exactly.
Up front.
And yeah, that follows directly on because though Casey is having a bad day, a joyful Alice shares her feelings with May.
He's changed since he's been here. He's a different person. You do believe people can change, don't you?
Yeah, I guess. Oh, that's great then.
I don't know. No one's ever been this nice to me before.
Oh, Alice. What's a place for you?
Who'd have thought, eh?
Well, I've got a secret too. Promise you won't tell?
Of course.
You were right about Pride. Me and him.
What? You mean... Forget you, girl. How did you manage to keep that secret?
I mean, see, I just wanted to comment on this because, like, we don't get much Alice and May scenes. So, I mean, what do you make of this little friendship moment between the two?
It was kind of cute.
Yeah.
It was sweet to see them be, you know, teen girls, to be girls, just to be girls, enjoying their crushes, their romances, you know, and it was kind of nice to see, and to see May acknowledge that, like, being open with Pride would kind of hurt Casey's feelings, you know, like she acknowledges that, and I'm like, okay, I'll give you props for that, you know. But Alice is definitely curious as to why Pride wants to keep it such a secret.
And and rightfully so.
That's my only complaint, is that, oh, Alice is showing more introspection towards this relationship that's not hers. Like, she asks a relevant question about May and Pride, but won't ask herself those same questions about she and Ned. That's my only complaint about it. Like, May didn't ask you any questions about you and Ned. She's just happy for you. She doesn't, say anything that would dampen what you're experiencing. And yet, here you are going, why does he want to keep it a secret? I'm like, Alice, you could use that kind of insight and just look at your own relationship. Leave May alone. Don't poo-poo on her.
It's so much easier to look at someone else's issues than at your own.
It is. But I don't think that Alice even thinks there is anything wrong.
Nope.
And that's what scares me the most,
She's been written as a moron. That's why she doesn't think there's anything even a tiny bit strange about what's going on with her and Ned. But yeah, otherwise, I think it's a really cute scene. And I like the two of them. The acting is really good.
Mm-hmm. And I do like how genuinely happy May does seem for her. She doesn't, you're right, she doesn't question anything. She's just like, well, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for both of you.
Yeah.
It's sweet. And yeah, I really do like these actresses having the chance to do this, because May and Alice usually are more antagonistic towards each other. And here, like you said, they're just being girls and talking about their crushes and how happy they are. And they're fit to bursting and they just need to share it with somebody. It's a secret, but I got to tell someone, and I like, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of in season 1 when they're all, I think it might have been Zondra's hen night.
Yes.
And Amber allows herself to be vulnerable with the girls because that wasn't her thing, and talk about Sasha and, just indulge in the fantasy of what if he's the guy, and just enjoy that the other girls are bolstering her, getting him. Because that wasn't Amber's way. She wasn't that kind of girl. And so she was allowing herself in that moment to be a girl's girl with the other females in her tribe. And they rewarded her for that by cheering her on. Like, oh my gosh, maybe he's the one. Maybe you'll be next. And seeing Amber's face light up. It reminded me of that,
Yes.
It was very tender.
I think that's what we've missed for quite a while. We have not just these friendship moments between these people who live with each other so closely, and have been through so much. Like, they're our family. Like,
they're family. They are mall rats. Yeah.
More moments like this, please. In general.
And then especially these two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it reminded me of this experience I had with Orion, and where you know how people say it's a girls thing. And you might have felt disconnected from that because maybe you don't like people generalizing that all girls are into the same thing and all that stuff like that. But how every now and then life will prove you wrong and give you a moment where you're like, oh yeah, maybe it is a girls thing, right? And my daughter was one day, she was doing something on her iPad and she was little. And out of nowhere, she just starts squealing, squealing, hey, cute, right? And I look out, I'm like, what the heck? And she runs over to show me the most painfully cute puppy I've ever seen in my life. And my first instinct was to squeal, he's cute! And it just made me laugh because it was like, maybe it is a girl thing. Some things, maybe they're just girl things.
Cadence does the same thing.
Yeah, but so does my son.
That's okay. He likes cute things.
Yeah, if they'd done Ned and Alice better, these scenes of her joy and sharing that joy with someone, I think would have had more impact, because our hearts would be shattering for her at this moment, because we'd be like, oh my gosh, she's so happy.
Because we know,
and we know that this isn't going to work out, or we have our fingers crossed that maybe,
and we've known from the beginning.
Like, I wish we could be rooting for Ned to somehow get out of this mess. I really do, especially as you're watching Alice be so happy. And I wish that translated to you being like, come on, Ned, don't let this guy get the better of you. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't even think it's just letting the Guardian get the better of you. I think it's, No,
I meant just getting out of the situation.
Yeah, like as soon as he got in bed with Ebony, that was it for him. Like before that, I thought maybe, but...
Like this moment with Alice, it's a mirror of the fact that we know that Ned is transporting someone with a weapon intended for him, and he's clueless as to how dangerous this person is, so he's not going to be on his guard watching out for himself. And instead of being indifferent to that, I wish they had set it up so that this moment with May and Alice would have more tension, because we'd actually be worried for Ned. We'd be thinking, I know what he did was wrong, but I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want him to fail at this. I don't want him to lose. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I just wish they had done better so that we were rooting for him instead of being like, yep, you're getting what you so, you know.
It's really a that's too bad moment, you know?
Yeah.
You know who I felt bad for? Andy. I felt bad for Andy with this.
I do feel bad for the twins.
Because
both
that
of them.
kid, yeah, but that kid, I mean, it's like Chloe all over. He was telling people this guy is faking it. He's dangerous. And nobody listened to him. And then this happens to his brother.
Yeah.
So the Morats begin to panic when they do discover that the Guardian is missing.
Look, if you've got something to say about Ned...
Hey, can we cut it out and stop this arguing? We're gonna find the Guardian now.
Yeah, before the city finds out.
What? Surely we're gonna tell the city.
Are you kidding? Bray tells them they can't have the Guardian and that we're keeping him locked up. And then he escapes. Goodbye, election.
Yeah, and supposing you hurt someone, how about that?
He is harmless. Ask Tysan.
Bray, you can't do this.
So yeah, Panel, what do you make of the discussion here and Bray's decision to not just to stand down from election, but to pretty much tell the entire city what has happened?
He's an idiot.
Okay.
This is complicated.
I'm trying to weigh like the pros and cons and order them in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything here is inherently terribly done. There's a good sense of urgency, but I feel okay. One, I don't know why Lex would tell Bray this in the middle of a pivotal speech. The one shot he has to get everyone to vote for him over Maz. You're going to and he's got good momentum, but you can see that he's still winning over the crowd right now. Why would you choose that moment to tell him this and be surprised that his brain short circuits while he's on stage trying to talk to these people? Like, I don't know why that couldn't have waited until he was done with his speech. Just let him finish the speech.
Yeah.
I get the urgency, but I don't know what purpose it serves other than to make sure that Bray is no longer in the running. Like, that's the writers needed Bray to be out of the running.
Yep.
And that's the only reason why Lex doesn't wait 5 minutes to tell him when he gets off the stage, like, good speech, bad news. You know what I mean? Just like...
Not even 5 minutes.
Right. Like, I'm like, it makes Lex look dumber than he actually is.
Yeah.
Just so that the writers can get Bray out of the running. You know what I mean? Like, so it felt like that's the plot moving the character rather than Lex, who's much more savvy than that, who would have just sat there in the crowd like, oh crap, all right, May, shut your mouth to go back to the mall. I'll make sure Bray knows. And then just sits on that like, oh, dude, okay, I gotta tell him. But he would wait. You know what I mean? He would wait until Bray was done.
Yeah.
And then be like, okay, yeah. And Bray be like, how was it? I think I won them over. And he'd be like, haha, yeah, about that. You know what I mean? I do not see how Lex thought in any way it was beneficial to interrupt the speech to tell him this.
And I think Lex is smart enough at this point to know that. So it is disappointing that they had him interrupt and do that.
Like, you didn't have another way.
Because logically, he would have told the other person, you know, and been like, hey, as soon as he's done, tell him this. I got to get back.
Because I don't feel like you need Bray to flub this speech.
No.
For it's still to be a crisis. Because, again...
Yeah, because he's still going to wait.
Right. The crowd still isn't... They're not, like, cheering him the way they would Amber. They're clearly still like, I guess he's making good points. He still could lose if he finds this out after his attempt at making his speech. Because people could still be like, I'm not voting for the guy who wouldn't let us have the Guardian and then lost the Guardian. It wouldn't matter what he had said on that stage.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? So I don't feel like you needed to do that to Bray. Give the guy a moment. He never gets to give good speeches. Just let him cook for a little while and then tell him after. Because they make it seem like the reason Bray loses a crowd is because he found this out and was thrown for a loop. And it's like, you didn't need to do that for him to still have lost the crowd or lost the vote. You know what I mean?
No, but we're supposed to magically believe that anyone would instantly vote for Bray based on anything he says, no matter what happens next.
It's not like he would have been able to save this, even if he'd given the best speech up there.
Yeah.
He's not popular in the city. He and Amber's choices aren't popular in the city. You know, sure, people aren't going to tear down your mall, but it doesn't mean they want you to be in charge of them. So I just didn't feel like this was necessary. I know it looks dramatic to have Lex go up there and derail the speech.
And that's that's probably part of it as well. They just wanted the dramatic.
It's just drama, and it wasn't necessary.
Ultimately, it just wasn't necessary. That's how I land as well.
Some filler. That's all it was.
It's making it obviously clear to the young viewers.
Let's talk about that bit. How smart was it to inform the entire city that the Guardian is loose?
I think it was smart, but also not smart at the same time. Okay, I think like they've learned from their lesson, like not keeping things to themselves and just running the show. Like maybe they were like, okay, this is what happened. We're going to be real with you. We're going to be honest, you know, but we're going to do everything we can to find him. And if you find him, you find him. I guess, you know what I mean? I think it was just trying to be transparent, more or less.
So you're saying you think the Morats have learnt to be honest?
Okay, maybe they've learned a little bit from their past mistakes. And who's really running the show here? It's Ebony. Ebony has everything planned. Like it's Ebony.
Plus,
you know what I mean?
Plus, with telling the city this, it shirks them of the
Ray's instantly forfeited.
Yeah, but it shirks them from the responsibility of what the Guardian might do next and getting the blame for that.
Oh no, but he still has the blame because he remember Bray, they kept him locked in and then lost him.
Yeah. That's why, you know, he
so that he had no choice to escape, to step down.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, by telling the city, because they don't know what the Guardian's about to do, you know? For all they know, he could be out there murdering all the other tribe leaders. So by making everyone aware that the Guardian's out there, they're at least trying to, you know, be open to everyone that look out, there's a maniac out
and saying, yeah, hey, he's out. Yeah. Like, we obviously failed at this.
Did they have to, though?
I think they did. I do think they did.
If they didn't, and the Guardian would harm someone, then he would have to feel responsible for that, and now he's warned them.
Yeah, and that's even so, you know, he just escaped. It just happened. You know,
exactly.
He didn't keep it.
I mean, let's look at that though. He had only just escaped. The Morats could have sent out a big search party. They could have looked for him first and then decided, okay, how long before we tell?
Yeah, but we all know they suck at search parties.
They're not good at that.
They might have realized that by now.
Pride there and Bray, the lone searcher. I mean, they could have actually done a search before deciding, okay, we're going to lose the selection now, so we're going to have to tell people. But, I mean, at least try first before giving up your only chance to, like, fame the city. You know what I mean? Like, I understand the moral reasons for telling people, but it just wasn't a good choice.
You just thought, what would Amber do?
Amber would tell the city.
Yeah, that's all this decision is.
Okay, and there's the difference between Amber and you know who.
I don't think that was playing in Bray's mind, though.
Amber would tell the city. Danny would not tell the city.
Yeah, Danny would. Yeah.
Danny would have been practical.
She would have been like, this is not a good idea. We need to at least search. We need to do this.
We need to try to fix this before anyone finds out.
Yes, exactly. She's damaged, you know, public relations, like that PR.
Yeah.
And, I mean, even if they believe that, obviously, the Morats said they now believe Andy, that he's dangerous, but he is still a single person. Like, they could have waited, I think, just to win the selection first, and then...
This is a guy who tried to blow up the entire mall. You don't give idiots who manage to get hold of bombs any leeway.
But remember, he hasn't got a tribe behind him. He's got nothing. He's by himself.
Yeah.
All the other chosen members have been integrated into other tribes now. They're like, they could have waited.
Who's to say he couldn't recruit them back?
It will take time. He's going to have to search them out.
And that's exactly it. They can't give him that time. That's why they're like, no, he's got to be like the city's most wanted right now. Like, he is on the loose. We've got to capture him.
I mean,
like,
how sure
I don't know.
I just think he could have waited until after the election. That's what I'm saying.
And that's and then Ebony's going to capture him and bring him back in, and it's going to be fine.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
But
may not be what happens, but that's the plan.
Yeah, and who's to say that there aren't still loyal followers out there? You know, it's Yes, they've been integrated into other tribes, and some are just out there on the streets. But who says that at the end of the day, these idiots aren't still loyal to him?
I mean, I know there's a nonsense bit at the end, but they wouldn't be. It's all just collapsed. There's nobody else around.
There's no one there.
I know they throw that in at the end, but come on.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I feel bad now because I'm like advocating that if the killer is on the loose, they be quiet about it. But you know what I mean? It's just like
No, I do get where you're coming from with it. Okay, like because it probably wasn't the smartest, because they could have still probably won the election
I'm
if
saying
they
just
wouldn't
wait a
have
little
done
while.
that right away.
Yeah, just not right away. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
no, I
don't tell
get that.
people.
I get that, but I think like they were trying to establish that the Mallrats were trying to learn from their mistakes. They were trying,
and they're lacking their voice of, well, Danny. It is,
bro. I'm telling you.
Let's not go that far.
I'm just saying, okay, what would Amber do? You know, she would tell the city. What would Danny do? She wouldn't.
No, she would try to sort it out first.
I don't think it has anything to do with them having learned anything, though.
I said trying.
I don't feel like that's why they're like, I don't think that has anything to do with why they absolutely 100% immediately have to tell the city that the Guardian is out there. I don't think it has anything to do with genuinely being concerned with anyone's safety. They have to tell the city right away so the plot can happen.
That's how it feels like. Yeah,
we're just trying to make it make sense. That's all.
I was like, straight away, really? You couldn't have waited a little bit. Just see if you can find him. Settle things you need to do. Like, come on.
We just wanted to try to make sense. Yeah.
Like it would have been great if that's what they were trying to show, that the kids had learned, and we're like, no, we have to, if we're going to be in charge, we have to do it better than we did last time. Last time we were willing to lie to protect our power. We don't want to be those kind of leaders this time. Like, you could have slipped that into the discussion, or you could even have Ellie say it. Like, no, last time we were in charge, we, propagated lies, and I won't be a part of it this time, even if no one else agrees with her. If that's the message you're trying to show, and that's why the kids did it. But we know that the only reason why the kids don't think of any other option is because the plot needs to move forward.
Yeah.
Because look at how fast this dialogue is going by.
Bro, before I even realized what was happening, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What just happened? Like, did she really just do that?
Yes, she did.
The only thing I actually hate about this is that Haisan gets away without anybody saying a word to her.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me angry. That actually makes me angry.
I've just been angry the whole season with her. So,
there's nothing. There's no consequence to her convincing everyone that this guy was safe and now he's free.
Oh, true.
And nobody says a word to her. She just quietly exits the conversation. She doesn't even have anything to say. Like when, Andy's saying she's just like, no, that's not true, Andy, and then, Ebony smoothly takes the blame because she's got an agenda. And it just made me so mad that there's not even a pan to Taisan's face of like, I was wrong. Nothing. Only thing that made me really angry.
It's like she knew she wasn't wrong.
well, they don't want to get tar and feathered, Isn't that what happened to May? Well,
Molasses.
You can't accuse Taisan.
I like Ebony during this. Ebony is great. Give her the Academy Award, folks.
Yes.
She's playing this up so well.
Mm-hmm. With all her innocence. No, I don't want to take charge. Really, I don't.
It's so good.
Who could do this? Nobody else can do it. Can you think of someone? She's brilliant.
We enjoyed the dialogue because it was nice, fast-paced, peppered back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. And it did give that sense of panic. But on the other hand, I don't like it because the only reason it's this fast-paced is so they can get to where they want to get.
Yeah.
They didn't want, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing that kind of annoys me is that all of this is happening as fast as it is so that, we can get to Ebony being nominated for leader.
So they can get to the end of,
because it's like, this is the fastest I've ever seen these kids make a decision about anything. It's just boom, 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 boom. And while I think that it's good for keeping the energy up and giving you a sense of anxiety, I know it's only there so that they can just get where they want to get very, very quickly.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was just thinking, it's just that simple one line you mentioned of like Ellie or someone saying, well, we've learned from our past mistakes. That would have just sold the entire thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
One simple little line that we have thought about and learned from what we've done before.
Yeah,
And I would have been fine
especially
with it.
since she's writing, the amulet again. Like,
Yeah.
she's already said she doesn't want to lie to everyone.
She's already set her up. Yeah, that's already been established again for her. It's like it could have been. I could have sold me on it, but yeah.
So
No.
simple.
Ellie being like, no, I was complicit before out of
Mhm.
loyalty, but I refuse to do it again. If you guys are going to lie, you know what I mean? It won't be my paper you're doing it with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's dangerous.
Mm.
Like, he got out and
And it would have fell in perfect with Ebony's plan too, because she already convinced Ebony, and Ebony was like, "Okay, fine,
Right,
you got to write the truth, whatever."
So it's like, even if it was only Ellie shaming them for even thinking about keeping this a secret, like, at least you would show that that's why they go forward with doing it immediately, telling people and accepting their responsibility. This is our responsibility. We swore we would keep this guy locked up, and now we've lost him, and we don't know if he's a danger to anybody, but no acknowledgement whatsoever. They're just doing this because the plot needs them to.
Yeah. I'm supposed to believe that they really care about the city. I'm like, really?
They don't even care about each other.
Yeah.
Shh. We're not supposed to think that.
And yet we're reminded of the scene immediately after of Amber and Trudy.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
You want me to believe that they care about each other and they care about the safety of the city, and then you give me a scene where I'm reminded that they don't.
Somebody will come. Say it. Say it.
Somebody will come.
Again.
Somebody will come.
So yeah, what'd you make of that scene, panel?
This is brilliantly acted. I love Amber having a chance to fall apart, and Trudy commands the scene. Like Antonia she's showing it in the way she is ordering Amber to keep it together, and she doesn't let her own thoughts come through except on her face. The one thing Amber can't see. Amber can't see Trudy's expression, and that's the only place Trudy allows what she actually believes to be true to show. Trudy doesn't believe anyone's coming for them. She has good reason not to believe that. But she refuses to let Amber believe that, if only for Amber's own well-being, her mental health, her physical health. You know what I mean? Like, so well done. Beth is killing it as she's falling apart in the way she's saying things like, I don't believe you. You keep saying that. You know what I mean? And it doesn't work anymore. I don't have a child. I don't have a face I can see to believe those things, blah, 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 all that.
Yeah.
And Trudy is just like, repeat after you, Amber, damn it. You listen to me. And only when the camera's focused on Trudy's face, do you see the actual truth that Trudy believes. She doesn't believe her words any more than Amber does.
Yeah.
And because Trudy's literally been here before.
Yeah, and she can't have Amber completely fall apart, because that, for Trudy, that would mean that she would have to accept reality, that nobody would come for them.
And it's like, how long can Trudy keep it up? How long can she keep Amber together? And you can see all of that on Trudy's face. Because
she's trying.
Yeah, and she's just doing it for her friend. You know what I mean? And
I think she does need Amber to keep it together so that she can can remain strong, can remain, strong and hopeful as well. Because I don't think she has very little hope.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's, because for her it's reality. You get kidnapped, nobody's coming here, never seeing your kid again. She knows that if she gives in to those thoughts, then she knows what'll happen to herself mentally. So she has to keep Amber's mental state okay enough as well. Not just for the baby's sake, but for her own sake as well.
Yeah, no, they absolutely have to lean on each other in this moment and during this.
And she has the experience of, being captive and things not going the way you want them to, things being horrible. As opposed to Amber, who, yes, has suffered a terrible trauma by being left for dead, but has not been through something like this before.
It's incredibly selfless behavior as well, since I know that if I were Trudy, once again, thinking I would never see my kid again, I'd want to just cry about that. I'd want to cry. You know, she's thinking of Brady. What's going to happen to Brady? Will I never see my daughter again? Who's caring for her? Does she call for me?
Oh,
Does she wonder where I am? Does she think I've left her? You know, and yet she can't
That's hard.
say any of that out loud. You know,
No.
she has to hold all of her fear, her pain in to bolster Amber, to keep Amber together, keep Amber from, suffering physically or anything. Just keep Amber okay. It's something she has to focus on. And yet she doesn't want to say anything about Brady. She doesn't say anything about her pain, her fears, so that she can keep her friend on task. And it's just an incredibly beautiful moment of selfless love for another person.
Yeah. And I think that's just who Trudy really is as a person too, you know?
Yeah.
Because she did this for her daughter as well, you know, with in season 2 and in season 3 with Brady, you know, and Chosen. And I think she always comes second. It's never Trudy first. But it's just so sad. It's just so sad. Like I almost want to cry just a little bit right now, you know? Because I wish that Trudy had gotten better, but she'd been done better in the show.
Yeah, we all do. We all wish that for her. But just an incredibly well acted scene by these two powerhouse actresses. Because my heart is wrenched out of my chest watching them. You never really see Amber break. You know what I mean?
Not much, not often.
She just kills it. She sells it so hard. I also love a take charge, Trudy. Even if the reason she has to take charge is just unfair. Just seeing her dig that strength out. And, you know, she's not someone who wants the glory or anything like that. But when she has to, she can do it. And I'm like, girl, you go, girl. Oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm sorry you have to go through this again.
Yeah.
And it shows where she's come from and what she's been through to have this level of growth.
I'll even forgive their makeup being perfect, Lance.
Yeah. No, even I don't mind. It was such a fantastic scene. Like everyone was saying, I just felt so much for Trudy. I was like,
yeah,
you have every reason to fall apart because you've been through this before. No one came for you. You know exactly what's happening now, but you're keeping it together for you and your friend, and you deserve so much props for that.
Ebony, please, will you just think about it?
Oh no, how could I possibly take your place?
Because Luke's right. I don't have a chance, and you do.
Great. So how long have you been plotting this, huh?
What?
Well, you might fool the others, but you don't fool me. Lex, would you just shut up? She's tricking you. You're crazy to even listen to her.
So Lex, as always, calling things how they are. But yeah, what did you make of Ebony's scheming here?
Oh my gosh.
And the award goes to...
Yes! It was so good. It was so good. I was like, oh yeah, that's how this happened.
It's really nice to see the payoff of her winning the loyalty of people in the little ways that she's been doing it. So, like, when she puts on that performance in front of Luke and Ellie, and, like, feigning this total panic, like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? There's nobody. She's naming all these people, conveniently leaving herself out. It just, she set it up and he knocked it down. That's exactly what she expected.
And Ellie's just shaking her head no.
But even Ellie was just kind of like, oh, well, I guess there isn't anybody else. You know, like she just disarmed everyone in such a way. I just want to give her a standing ovation.
Well played, Ebony. Well played.
It's so good. I was like, this is beautiful.
It was that cheeky backward smile on the bed where she's lying there. I was like, Ebony.
Even the pose. Even the pose.
The pose as well.
And like a season ago, I would have been so annoyed with it. Like, oh gosh. And now I'm just like, you're back. Welcome back. And it's, you know, well played. Beautifully done.
Fantastic,
Good game of chess, you know.
Yep.
Even won it. I'm not going to stand here being accused of things that I'm not guilty. Oh my gosh. She's
just been delegating everything, you know? So, of course, it seems like she doesn't want anything.
Girl, you deserve this. You earned this.
I mean, Bray even saying, oh, I've seen so much of the wonderful Ebony I used to know.
She had him begging her.
Ebony finally gave him what he has wanted since the start.
Since he met her.
He saw someone, he fell for her, okay? And then she became a different person in his eyes. She finally gave him some sort of validation that he wasn't wrong for having fallen for her in the first place.
Yeah.
That's why he says, you're like the Ebony I once knew. And it's like, no, Bray, she's always been this Ebony. Even when you thought she was just a sweet girl, she was playing you back then, too.
The whole time.
The whole time. You just never liked the idea that this is who you fell for. It made you question yourself as a person. And here she is giving you back like, oh, okay, there wasn't anything wrong with me having fallen for her. I really did see something great in her. She really was sweet and cared about other people and blah, blah, blah. Like, Ebony.
And she's
Ebony.
now portraying herself.
It's Ebony.
Ebony.
Amber's out of the way, and she's portraying herself as this perfect woman.
And I don't even think it's that either. Like, I don't even think it's just like...
He isn't doing it for that, but...
Like, it's just funny that she's got him, begging her to take his, to take his place, that he really thinks she really has won. And it's kind of scary. It's not kind of, it is scary. It's terrifying, because we know a little bit of how things go, right? But...
It is terrifying.
So, yeah.
Because it shows, one, her potential. Okay, we always knew Ebony was good at what Ebony does. But we also knew that her problem was she didn't always have self-discipline. You know what I mean? And so an Ebony, a competent Ebony who has the self-discipline to wait, to just wait.
Play the long game.
Just play the long game is actually terrifying because it's like, wow, what she could accomplish if she finally gets this throne and she keeps playing like this, you know what I mean? Like she played the Game of Thrones, you know what I mean? And that actually is kind of terrifying at what she's capable of doing. And I also think it's sad for a couple of reasons. It's sad because Ebony actually was good. Even if she was just faking all this because she had a different agenda, she still was good at it. Like she was good at being a leader within this group of people. She was good at distracting people, keeping everyone calm, delegating what needed to be done, and running the tribe. And so that's kind of sad that if she wasn't so obsessed with power, the kind of leader Ebony could truly be, what she could get accomplished, she'd be the best
They started
leader
respecting her.
this city had ever seen, if it wasn't always power that she was chasing. And I find that sad because I don't think she sees that potential in herself. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't see.
And the others do too.
You know, and then it's sad because this is one of the few times where Bray is begging Ebony, and it's not because he's not for selfish reasons. He's not doing it like, oh, Ebony, I just need you to, I'll be nice to you because I need something from you. Like he believes what he's saying. He's being so sincere to her when he is complimenting her. And he really does look at her and he's like, wow, you have been my rock. You are an amazing person. He is like, Lex, you have something to say to her. And it makes me sad because he really means it this time. And she's always wanted that from him. But because she's so focused on her throne, she can't appreciate that she finally won his respect. She finally has Bray's respect and admiration. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's something sad about that. Only thing I would change about this is I wish that Lex calling Ebony out wasn't just because he wanted the job.
Yeah, it's the same. Same.
That's it. That's the only thing I wish. I wish that Lex had shown some realistic suspicions about her before this. Because then it would be just one of those moments where you're like, oh crap, Lex is right. And he's trying to warn you. But we know that that's not why Lex is saying this. Because he hasn't had a problem with Ebony either. You know, he's been totally fine with her running the show, and it's just he's just jealous that she was the pick. You know what I mean? But that's the only thing I would change. Because even when Lex is apologizing, he also seems sincere. Like he recognizes, I was only saying that because I wanted the job and I was jealous. I am sorry. You haven't done anything lately to deserve that. And he's moved by her apologizing to him. You know what I mean? I just give her all the trophies.
Yeah.
She earned this. That's all I can say. Like she earned this.
She did.
She can have it.
And watching all the pieces, fall into place, like because sometimes it seemed random, and then she whatever she was working on would happen, and you're like, oh, that's why. And now it's okay. See, we see you.
She put in the work.
Yeah,
she really did. And whoever wrote her plot actually put in the effort to make it believable that she was able to do this rather than everyone's dumb and that's the only reason she was able to do this. Like
it made sense.
Like strategize and work around everybody and disarm everybody and took her time doing it. And I'm just like, it's a well-deserved win, Ebony. It is. Too bad she's going to try and throw it away immediately.
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 That brings us to our final thoughts of the episode.
Don't be afraid. There's only one thing I need from you. Then you'll have your freedom.
Freedom?
Yes. More than you've ever known. Now tell me. The Supreme Mother. Where have you hidden her?
So yeah, what'd you make of this cliffhanger?
I knew as soon as Ned said what he said about having the Supreme Mother, I'm like, oh no, not that Supreme Mother. He's going to think it's the wrong Supreme Mother. And sure enough, he only cares because he thinks it's Tysan.
I don't think so.
No.
He knows where Tysan is. He's not confused about that.
And he knows the girls have been taken.
Yeah, he knows it's Trudy and Amber who've been taken. He's not thinking about Tysan.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He wants to get back at Trudy.
I mean, if there's anyone we as his court to settle with, it's Trudy right now.
I admire the show for going as dark as they do here.
It's gotten pretty bad.
Like, again, this works not because Ned's a good character or that he had a good character arc. Arguably, it doesn't even exist, but it works because Bevan and, what's his face, they're acting their butts off. You know what I mean? Like, this works because their performances are so good. I almost, like, again, if Ned had been written better, I could feel terrible for him because, again, I don't believe he deserves to die. You know what I mean? And the fear in his eyes when he realizes, like, he wakes up and he realizes he's tied up and it looks like the Guardian is building a pyre. Like, the insinuation of what is about to happen to Ned. Even the way the Guardian is talking to him. Oh, well, you'll be free. You'll get your freedom. We know what the Guardian thinks freedom is. And the look on Ned's face when he's like, I'm going to let you go, but you need to tell me where the Supreme Mother is. You can see it in Ned's eyes. This fear, there's almost again, it's just Bevan's performance. Should he say where these girls are? Again, he never wanted any harm to come to the girls. He never intended on hurting either of them. And it wasn't even personal with Trudy. She was just there and he had to take her. And if he tells this guy where they are, he can't guarantee that they won't be harmed. But if he doesn't tell this guy, there's the fear of what's he going to do to me. Their performances are brilliant. That's the only reason this has any sort of impact at all. It's just them together acting off each other. And it's so dark knowing, oh my gosh, Ned's a dead man, you know? Even that cocky speech he gives just before the Guardian knocks him out, you know? Like, everyone says that Ned was stupid, but I'm smart and I've got it all figured out. I got a farm, I got a girl, you know? And he's so happy with himself. And then clunk.
Yep.
And like, I thought that was actually staged really well. And I just wish Ned had been written better so that we would actually feel terrible.
Yeah.
That he hadn't been able to dig himself out of this hole, something, you know, or whatever. But again, I do not believe he deserves what the Guardian's about to do to him.
But you can't feel bad about it either.
I do. Because again, I don't believe this is what he deserves. He deserves a flogging, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't believe he deserves to be killed. I think there's a difference between... I think there's a difference between Ned not caring that he's likely delivering the Guardian to his death and Ned deserving death. Because, one, let's remember who the Guardian is. Just because Tysan believes he's helpless and innocent of all his crimes, he is not. And in a fair court of law, he likely would have been given the death sentence for his crimes. So I don't feel bad that Ned was going to deliver him to his death. But I don't think that, and I also don't believe that means Ned deserves to die.
No.
I don't feel bad about him delivering the Guardian. I feel bad for it's what he did to Amber and Trudy. That's what I think he deserves. What's coming to him.
Yeah.
But see, I don't think he deserves death for that. Again, there's lots of things he deserves, but to be murdered, I don't believe he deserves to be murdered for that.
I feel.
I don't believe a person deserves to be murdered for a kidnapping.
For what he did to Amber and Trudy, I would absolutely be for capital punishment for him.
For a kidnapping, really?
For a pregnant woman and I would absolutely.
Okay.
That's just my in this world. What he did to them, I would absolutely be for that. But like, regardless of who it was, if it was not Ned or whoever it was, but that's just how I feel.
I don't think Amber would be.
Oh yeah, of course, yes.
Yet you don't think Bray deserved what happened to him?
Yeah. Back to this.
He didn't kidnap.
He assaulted,
starve, or like he.
I'm
What
just
did he
saying,
do?
He didn't starve any. Ned didn't starve anybody.
Yeah, he did.
He kidnapped them. He held them against their will. That is true. I just
He
don't.
went at least a day
Yeah,
or
it was
longer
a
without
few-
feeding
yeah,
them
it was
because he
some
wanted
time-
to be on the farm with the
Yeah,
owls.
Ebony
And
remarked.
these girls haven't seen, and the girls are mentioning that they haven't seen him in a bit.
Seen him, yeah.
Yeah, but they're not starving. They're scared.
They feel
it's
like
awful.
it.
He definitely deserves a flogging. He deserves to have Maz beat him with dildos.
No, that's
He
more than a
needed to die.
flogging. That's more than a flogging. Come on.
I'm just saying, a kidnapping.
He's depriving a pregnant woman of nutrition.
The same thing to Ned that I said to Bray. Be careful who you mess with. You know, don't start nothing. There won't be nothing. Sorry, this is what's gonna happen to you. You don't deserve to die, but
yeah.
I just feel bad for his siblings and kind of for Alice, because no matter how unfound her love for him is, she's still in love with him.
Oh, yeah, we're going to argue this next episode.
I'm just glad it's done. To be honest.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Because we've just spent all this time watching a storyline that had so much potential be wasted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, it's over. It just sucks because I know that most of what I feel is just because Bevan's performance is so good. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I know that's where a lot of my emotions are coming from. His performance is so good. It makes me feel for him, even though it's just like, I don't feel bad for this character and what he got himself into, what he was willing to do to others, his lack of empathy for anybody, his abusive treatment towards women he claims to love, his not learning anything, not growing or changing. Like, he's so poorly mishandled. But Bevan deserved so much better because he's just giving so much that he made me feel something, and he made me feel regret that his character will be lost. And there's no chance for him to become a better person or be redeemed or grow. Because imagine what Bevan could have done with Ned.
Yeah.
That brings Series 3, Episode 47 to a close. Thank you very much to the panel. And if you'd like to take part in a future episode of the podcast, or to even leave us a message, you can do so on our Facebook page, on Instagram, or on the website. Just search for thetribe.co.uk or Conversation on Eagle Mountain. So see you next time for episode 48. Until then, bye.
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 Bye.